Okay, hi everybody. It's our second webinar coming up here, and it is for the conference, Resilience for Sport and Recreation, Stories from the North, what we host on February 22nd and 23rd, 2022, on the beautiful lands right here at the Mackenzie River, on the beautiful lands of the Diga-Gautier First Nations and the Diga-Gautier Métis. And today I have the amazing Sarah with me. And Sarah is an educator who works in the recreation and sports space. She teaches physical literacy at Seneca College and works with communities to help create positive and inclusive spaces for everyone. And that includes working with me on different projects, and just amazing to work with you there, Sarah. You are going to talk at the conference about physical literacy and inclusion, and we will have you and your beautiful presentation on February 22nd at 1:30 p.m. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you so much. It is actually a massive pleasure being able to work with you. And I can now say that you're actually a friend of mine, so that's kind of neat too. So thank you for having me and inviting me to speak at this conference. I shouldn't say this out loud, but I would never say no to you, no matter how much you are or are not paying me. So welcome everybody. I am so excited to speak at this conference. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about what I'm going to talk about and hopefully entice you to come. This is like the previews at Cineplex Odeon, but this is a little bit more low budget. I am coming to you today from the traditional territory of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe peoples. I would like to also acknowledge the land I am on is at the meeting place of two treaties, the lands of the Mississauga of the Credit and those of the First Nations of the Williams Treaty. This land is also called Markham, Ontario, and it is truly a pleasure to live, play, work, learn, reflect, and grow on these lands. I'm going to be talking about inclusion and physical literacy. So I got to tell you a little bit about who I am. And also I am Olympics obsessed. I've got my Olympic toucan, as it's such an exciting time to talk about sport and to talk about engaging children in sport and physical activity. And that's going to be a lot about what we talk about on February 22nd. So join myself and all of my smart, friendly, and fun colleagues as we try to share some knowledge and experiences with you. So I go by the pronouns of she, her, and hers. I am actually a cisgender female, a member of the LGBTQ community. What that means is I live common law with my partner Maya, our 9-year-old daughter Ayla, and a very large 180-pound Great Dane mix, Bull Mastiff mix dog named Hamilton. He gets me out a lot and moving. I grew up on the unceded traditional territories of the Matsqui, Kwantlen, Katsi, and Semi-Amu First Nations, and then moved away and spent many years on the beautiful lands of the Coast Salish territory. I love coffee, I absolutely love Lego, and I love getting out for spontaneous adventures. And actually that picture there was taken when I was in Hay River a bunch of years ago. A few less wrinkles, but definitely such an honor to be up in the north. It's such a special place, and I hope COVID sort of chills out so I can get back up there. So what are we going to talk about on February 22nd? We know already that Canadian kids are sitting far too much and moving far too little to reach their full potential. They are choosing couches and staying inside their homes instead of getting out and engaging in physical activity. And when we see our Olympics today, we need to have our kids play and move and engage in their environment for them to have an opportunity to get to their highest level of skill. So we know that Canadian children are not meeting their full potential. And we look at remote communities like the North, and we look at other extra challenges, it makes it even harder and more challenging, more barriers for these children to get out. And this would be the same for all age groups, not just children. We also know, and probably many people are going to talk to you about this, but the impacts of COVID-19 have been catastrophic. And there is some recent research that is out there showing us that the return to sport, we're at a really sensitive time. I talk a lot about this with my college students, and even just from a personal perspective, just getting out of the house sometimes, just getting motivated to sort of be productive and get work done has been really challenging for a lot of us. I've definitely felt the heaviness of the COVID-19 fog. So a lot of research is telling us that when we look at certain populations and populations that are already participating at lower rates, we're going to see less of a return to physical activity and sport. after COVID, as we start to open back up. I know we're all in different locations and places, and everybody's doing that at a different rate, but it is a sensitive time for people to reemerge. So we're looking at 1 in 4 girls, according to some research, 1 in 4 girls, and this is a girls, a pandemic girls on sport report. They're looking at 1 in 4 girls will not be returning. What freaks me out about that, that is close to 350 Canadian girls will not be returning to sport. And in some cases, I sort of question, why would they want to be in sport when it's organized as too much competition, too much stress, too much focus on winning and outcomes, and children aren't feeling, and humans just aren't feeling like they are being seen. They're not finding that sense of belonging, and they're really struggling to fit in. And for people to say, hey, I am unique and I need to be seen and heard, that sort of athlete-centered, child-centered approach. So we need to step up to the plate. All of us community leaders that care about our communities and care about movement, it is independence. We know from the research that the more we move, the better and easier our life is, the less we go to the hospital, and the more opportunities we have to engage with others. So how do we do it better? And how do we engage in a better way? Well, on February 22nd, it's a Tuesday. I hope you're not busy at 1:30. I'm going to be talking about physical literacy and inclusion. My session is going to provide you with some tools, knowledge, and because this conference is about storytelling, I'm going to share with you some personal stories and some experiences that I've had, some mistakes that I've made. I'm going to hopefully make you laugh, maybe pull some emotional strings, and share some interesting content with you so that when you are back out there, we can do it a little bit better. Just improve and get an environment that's safer or more inclusive for all the kids that engaged. So I'm going to give you some tools and some knowledge to help you create a welcoming and quality program to provide safe and inclusive spaces for your athletes and participants. We're going to take a look at how physical literacy can be used as a tool to engage. How can we really use it to set the tone so kids come out and they keep coming back. They stay engaged. They feel amazing about who they are, and they just keep returning. And then who knows where they're going to go. We're going to talk a little bit about physical activity, fitness. We're going to talk about some concepts and some human movement initiatives to keep our kids moving and motivated. We already know that when we look at long-term development, Sport for Life's work, we're looking at inclusion as a non-negotiable piece of that amazing framework. And we're going to talk about what that looks like in real life and the challenges of what it takes. It's not an easy process. It has to be thoughtful. It has to be intentional. It has to be done with care, right? Our kids need us so much. I have a 9-year-old at home, and I'm noticing she's less motivated to play hockey than she was before. And yet the coaches, who are amazing human beings, don't understand that sometimes an extra care and some extra nurturing in the locker room just before the girls go out on the ice. They need a little bit of extra care in reintroducing themselves and making them feel comfortable and that they are important. They're an integral part of the team, that they all have a place and they are all valued. Extra care is needed. I'm going to help you give some tools to make sure that we can do that. And we're going to save time. I'm not going to take up all the time. You can still have lots of time to practice skill, get into games, get kids better at moving, build their physical literacy, and make them feel included, welcomed, and that they really belong. So physical literacy, we know there's a couple elements of physical literacy. We're talking about going beyond skill development to make sure that those children have a really good experience. We're looking at creating those physical literacy environments. I know my friend and colleague, Jen Gores in Alberta, she's got a session in the same conference. I think she's talking, I don't even know what day she's talking. I think she's talking, I don't even know. She's talking before or after me. I should probably know that, but I don't. And she's going to be talking about physical literacy and play in early childhood. So you definitely want to check out that. And you can see how that links in when we talk about physical literacy and inclusion. We're going to look at that motivation and knowledge piece, that confidence piece. Of course, physical competence is important. For kids to learn skills, we need to make sure we take care of some other elements as well, some other needs. We need to take the time. It was important before. It's always been important, but it is more important now. So I told you before I like Lego. This is Lego figures my daughter made. So the right, that's me as a Lego figure. I look a little stressed out, don't I? I think I got to manage that. And that's my daughter who looks like she's about to take me out as a Lego figure. But I love this image because it was just such a fun experience, her and I playing and engaging together. So if you care about kids and movement and your communities and you want to come and have a conversation with me, please join me February 22nd. It's a Tuesday. Come at 1:30. I'm happy to answer any questions you like. My email and my social media handle is there. If you would like to even suggest some topics, I'm open to that. I'm open to really looking at what we can address, breaking down those barriers, and really looking at inclusion and physical literacy as tools to help us do that, help kids get to sport and help them stay in sport. So keep cheering on Canada. For those of you who are watching the Olympics, the 2 days that are set aside for you for this conference, you have amazing speakers. So check them all out. Definitely, I'd love for you to come to my session, but I would also love you to check out, you have Beth Hudson, Drew Mitchell, Jen Gores, Greg Henhock. You've got 2 youth athletes. These 2 athletes that Thorsten and I have been working with, Ren and Gracie, who are doing amazing work inspiring younger athletes to get moving in their homes during the pandemic. So amazing young people, and they're going to share some of their experiences with you as well. So check us out. I can't wait to see you, and I'll probably still have my hat on. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks on February 22nd and 23rd. Okay, take care. Bye for now.
That was beautiful, Sarah. Thank you very much for all you do. And it's just nice to see your smile, your energy, and your enthusiasm about it all. So I'm looking forward to it. It's coming up. It's less than 2 weeks, but it will be fantastic. And as you said, we have some great speakers, and just telling the stories and making sure that we share the importance of physical literacy in this world. So thank you very much for that, Sarah.